Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how I painted this Hormagaunt in around about 5 minutes and how you can get a horde of great looking Tyranids for MPOs for kill team or for your hive fleet in no time at all. So I'm going to whiz through showing you how to go from this to this, and probably won't do it in one take just because of drying times, but yeah, I'll show you just how quick it is. Okay, so here he is. Now what I did was spray the model black and then probably about a 45 degree from each side, like heavy zenithal of Wraithbone, Citadel Wraithbone. Now this effect could easily be achieved with a dry brush. So I've used Wraithbone. I've got a black. I'm using Black Legion contrast. I've based with Xandri Dust. And then I'm going to use contrast Gryph-hound orange or a watered down other orange. Now then you could use a wash of Agrax Earthshade, which I've used before, which works really well, but I'm going to go with AK Streaking Grime. This is AK12, which is quite a brown one, but it's the one that gets used a lot. And then I'm lucky enough to have a Villainy Ink Carrion Crimson, which I'm just going to put a little bit on at the end. And then of course I've got some Spirit to thin these out. Okay, let's get going then. So put a couple of drops of, or a couple of brushfuls if you like, of Black Legion with a brush full of water. And then I'm just going to paint over all the carapaces really quick like this. Now obviously these colours can be substituted for whatever you like. A little bit of imagination. Just going to go quite careful here. The reason I water it down ever so slightly is just to it pre-highlights. Okay, because using quite a heavy wash later, you don't have to be completely 100% accurate with this, but it does help to be quite neat. Okay, then I do the hoofy bits. And these claws. Had to switch to a voiceover just because it was a summer's day and there was quite a lot of noise outside. So just finishing off these claws, and I'm going to do the little claws as well. If it was one of the ones with the tongue out, I would have done the tongue. And then I'm just going to go around the base, which in hindsight I probably shouldn't have done straight away, just because this paint, as I'd thinned it slightly, was a little bit translucent and it needed doing again. Little thumbprint there, never mind, that will go over. And that's that finished the black stage. So now I can decide what accent colour I'd like to put over the top. In my case, following RGB Miniatures, I think it's Rob, does a colour scheme like this. I've chosen Gryph-hound orange, and that's just around the face and the mouth, going back a little bit onto the head and under the neck. Just as an accent colour, you could use anything here and it would look a little bit different. The same as you could use a different colour. Well, you could use a different colour base or a different colour from black on the armour. Now, on other models with weapons, I've done those projectile weapons in orange as well, which has looked quite good. And there we are. I mean, a little bit of a mistake there. So I come back with some Wraithbone and just cover that mistake. You might have some other bits of black at this point that you've been a bit messy with, or some slightly darker patches that you want to just highlight up for the wash stage. It's been a couple of minutes, so I'm going to go over this again now. The Black Legion will have dried out slightly, so become a little bit thicker, and it covers a bit better. Okay, now, as I said before, you could use any wash at this stage just to put some character in. This is Streaking Grime. It's a cheap paint to buy. It's a really easy one to use. That's only a small amount in that pot, so I put a little bit of thinner in, which helps it flow really easily, and it keeps the colour in the recesses, but it's that little bit lighter on the bits that you're going to pull back. So yeah, that's the way I found on using it. So I also put a little bit on the base, so it's quite hard to take it off of the sand that's on this base, but it just adds that little bit of character. It's quite a simple basing technique that I use. Literally dip it in sand. So just going to let that dry for a little while, and then take some, this is odorless thinner, but any spirit thinner will do. I only need a little bit of that because it's only one model, and I use these little makeup sponges. So different techniques, but I use a wet one and just run it over the model everywhere that I want the streaking grime to come away from, and that just reactivates it all. Making sure I do the black carapace as well, because it does make a difference. Then I've turned it over. You can see that side's quite dirty, and just going over the model again, paying attention to the white bits. So it leaves a wash-like shade in all the recesses, and it also does colour the white bits slightly as well. So make sure you're happy around the face, and that's it, pretty much done. Now I've got into using this villainy ink as a blood gore effect, literally just a drop for one model, but any red or there's a gore red from Citadel, which has got a gloss finish to it as well. and then I just put that in to the orange around the face. Just to give it a bit of life. Just a touch on the claws. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't with the claws. And then here it is finished. It's not quite cured yet, but you can see what a great effect, and you saw for yourself just how quick that is. I mean, probably 5 minutes total painting time. Now, it's the same that I've used for these other models, but some of them I've spent a bit more time on. The lictors I spent that little bit more time on. These guys with the orange weapons. The rippers, exactly the same way. Need to be a little bit careful with those because they're small. These barb gaunts for MPOs. And then on these larger models, I've done it exactly the same way, but again, I've spent that little bit more time, a little bit, because there's more details, and you want the bigger models to show that you've spent some time on them. And this patriarch, it's got quite a lot of blood over it, and but again, just the same colours, done the same way. So that's it. There's a full squad of Hormagaunts, a full squad of Termagants. They both have their little ripper swarms with them. Got a couple of barb gaunts there. I've done my Tyranid terrain in the same way. Got my leapers, which are also my raveners. Haven't got around to the raveners yet. And then we've got some big guys in the background. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and let's hope that you can kick out your MPOs or your squads of NIDs nice and quick, and get a really good effect for them.